So taking a look at the foot action of some of the fastest men in the world is absolutely unreal. So we're going to see these three distinct phases. So starting with the initial contact, you're going to see the toe strike out and the heel strike in. And basically what this is doing is allowing the athlete to load through the arch and the Achilles, really stretching these tendons through this initial contact. And then in the second phase, start to convert this in the forwards direction. So we're going to see the heel in, but then we're going to see it flick out so fast here that the foot literally blurs. But basically, the foot's striking on an outside contact and then coming through to the big toe. This is allowing this force to be directed forwards now. And then lastly, we see the foot flick out the back. So you can see that flick right there. Basically, a horizontal projection of the body. Really powerful. It's like this little floating phase. And basically, the better the athlete does these three things, so firstly, load through the foot, load through these tendons, roll it through, direct in a forward direction, and flick out the back, the faster they're going to be. So with this, let me leave you with some training considerations. So firstly, the limiting factor has to be the foot. It's the only thing touching the ground. It honestly doesn't matter how strong you get your hips and your knee. If your leg's slamming down and your body doesn't trust that your foot can handle these forces, it will down-regulate your ability to slam it in from a safety perspective to your body. So firstly, can you do these actions that we're seeing in the foot? Are you developing the skill of these things? And are you projecting your body horizontally like we saw with that flick? Okay, so now we can bring it back to training considerations. So firstly, noting that the limiting factor is going to be the foot. So we can load into this foot, and it includes the toes as well, as we're going to have to rely on intrinsic muscle activation of the foot to hold things steady, and then integrating into our skill and coordination work, as well as our loaded exercise movements as well. When it comes to whether you can do this, it's just a case of filming yourself, slowing it down, and seeing what the foot is doing, especially from that behind angle. And then developing this skill, as well as projecting horizontally, we can start to look at the foot shift integrations with our posterior movement. So practicing going from the outside of the foot to the inside of the foot, as well as just pushing ourselves horizontally instead of everything having to be vertical. So whether we apply resistance horizontally, or we just work on literally pushing into things like the wall horizontally as well. All of these things can come together to help us develop some of these actions that we're seeing in the foot here.